like they should have, they would have good gravel over the top and it would be done already.
Kudos to Kerry Shimke, he's been working on that road whenever he can. And I will say he has done a tremendous job trying to do something with that road as what it is. I know, but I'm just saying.
You know, it hasn't been quite the problem this year as it was the previous 2 years because another road has opened up with that new bridge.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but we're in a time of year now where it's gonna be bad.
This time.
You know, it's harvest, the rain's less, it's, watch for it.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, you know, usually the weather starts to stabilize out a little bit here and we're getting to that point. And, you know, but that is, guys, that is why I've been asked many times why we don't chip seal in June and July. And that's why, because the weather is so unstable and so volatile that, you know, there's just way too much risk of me ordering 3 tanker loads of oil and then all of a sudden it rains all next day and we're paying way more than we should for the oil because it's sitting in their trucks.
So anybody got anything else for Brent? We got Jason here? No.
Thanks for getting on that road too,
Yeah, I feel terrible that we forgot that mile, but I can see why.
Yeah.
The old triangle.
Yeah. Got her figured out now.
Yeah.
Morning.
Good morning, we got reading material, huh?
A little bit if you want it.
Acting like a teacher.
List of your bridges here.
Bridges.
Check out some notes. So, by August 19th, you guys have to come up with a list of your top 5 priorities.
For roads or bridges?
For bridges.
Oh, bridges.
Yep. This is, so what they're doing with the bridges, I kind of explained last month too, but what they're doing is they're asking each county to give a 1 through 5 priority list for rehab and reconstruction. And then also, if there is 5, they want a list of 1 through 5 for removals as well. So I've jotted down, and this is through the Flex Fund, but it's not an application process. So you give the priority list, each county's gonna have their own priority list, and then they're gonna rank them 1 through 260, essentially. And then what they will do then is, once they have them all ranked, they're gonna figure out a semi-final list, they're calling it. So they're gonna probably pick out 40 or 50, their top 40, 50, and then they'll contact each county and state that this bridge is on the short list, I guess, if you want to call it that. And then from there, they're going to ask the counties to decide how much local funding they're willing to put in. And then I think they're going to probably re-rank them based on how much you guys are willing to put in. So for now, I guess before, I believe it's August 19th. It doesn't say on here, but I believe it's August 19th. You guys have to have this sent in, I guess. Yeah, it's got to send this in. So I put my own notes on here. Brent and I have talked about this a little bit. You know, we've got a few that are, the ones that I have starred there are canal bridges, I guess, and we've talked about the potential of looking at, I mean, a lot of those are in very good shape, so I don't know if it makes sense to get rid of them yet, but we did discuss
We'll
potentially.
wait till we own that canal.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, obviously, at some point, it will become the county's problem when some of those bridges get into the more, you know, fair to poor shape.
They don't get much moisture around them, though. They shouldn't go bad, should they?
I mean, that's true. There's definitely not as big a scour issue.
We got bigger things to worry about.
Than
I
those.
think they're good
Yes.
for a long time.
Yeah, because they're up out of the water,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
The discussion would be eventually, if there is removal money out there, you know, getting the removal money
Sure.
from them. When we started looking at them, they're all in very good shape. I think there's only the one, 12311, that was even in the downgraded to fair, and the plan of action, the scour on that one is a C, which is the lowest of those categories, so. All in all, those are in pretty good shape, so. I just kinda jotted down my one, what I would recommend be the 1 through 5. Obviously, the first two are the two that we got funding for and then pulled it off there, northeast of here. So I would, in my opinion, those would be your top two just because they're 3 ton, 6 ton. We did discuss when we first got the funding for those two, possibly removing the one and rerouting the road. Brent had come up with kind of a plan to take 2 and bring it down to 1 and reroute the road. We could apply for the road realignment, but it would have to be through the application, which would be then separate from the bridge replacement. They wouldn't let us apply for both together. So you'd put it on the priority list, and let's say you get the funding, then we'd have to discuss if that realignment is a possibility. If you guys want us to, we can apply for that one through the Flex Fund application. The plan as of now for the Flex Fund was to include the old 52 mill and overlay and County Road 1 from here north 8 miles as a mill and overlay as well. So we could do a third application for the road realignment. The weird thing would be is if you get one, you don't get the other. You know, then obviously
We're better off waiting with that to get our other 2 things.
You're saying get to go right with
The
it?
other priorities.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to put a third application in. The chances of getting it might be very
That
slim.
doesn't hurt to put it in. If we get it, we can decide then what option to go, right?
Right, right. And I mean, the
So
biggest issue, I guess, is figuring out what you're gonna put as your local share, and if you had a third
As long
job,
as it doesn't jeopardize the first couple.
then you're mixing, you know, so that's the only issue there is.
Spread yourself pretty thin.
Right, exactly. When really, let's be honest, if you get one, you gotta be pretty happy with that. I guess to start, because I want to get into the other projects as well, but to start, do you guys have any comments on this bridge list, I guess?
Well, 1 and 2 are the 2 on here. Those are the 2 that we originally got funding for that we've moved around. Is that correct?
Yep.
And then 3 is the one with the road alignment.
Correct.
4 is would just so I know, is that west of the County Road 1, 2 miles? I think 4 is the one over by where Tyler Waggle lives. I think.
By the old Newman barn,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
There's a bridge there or a bunch of culverts?
Bridge.
I think the 5 he chose really fits. I mean, if you look at the condition in which they're in, you'd obviously do the 4 ones, the fair ones next, and, you know. Right.
11911 is on 43rd Avenue, north of 19th Street.
Yep, that's the one.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, yep,
I mean,
yeah.
If he's got to be in by the 19th of August, you pretty much got to decide today.
That's right.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
My suggestion is doing the 5 that Jason recommended. My opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Is that a consensus with everybody? I guess.
Yeah, and I could always send a spreadsheet with it cleaned up with those on there too, if you want to. That's the sort
I
of.
would agree with it.
You need a motion. It's just a consensus, right? You don't need a motion.
Yeah, I don't think
No.
we need it.
Just
Plan. If you want me to resend the spreadsheet cleaned up, I can certainly do that. So you have sort through this.
Yeah, so what is the responsibility on our end for submitting this?
See, I thought it was on here, but I will send, why don't I send it again, with the original email that came in? You would've got that email, but I think it goes to the flexfund@ind.gov or whatever the website is, or the email, and I'll send that to you. And then, the one I had looked at showed the actual data, this one is not showing it, but I'll send you the information.
And at this time, we don't have to provide them knowledge of what our local contribution would be.
Not for the bridges, no. So that's what I'm saying is, so they're gonna take your guys' priority list and somehow rank all of the county's priority list, and then they'll shortlist it, and that's when they shortlist it is when you're hopefully gonna see another email stating that you've got one or two.
that have been shortlisted, and then they're gonna wanna know what kind of commitment you're willing to put in, correct?
Correct. So it's still something that you guys need to be discussing, is if there is any funding there that we could, if we get shortlisted, we could potentially put in one or two of them.
So 5, and we just happen to have 5 commissioners with all the checkbooks, so yeah, this should go well.
Yeah, on each. Equal opportunity employers, type of thing.
So,
So even getting on the short list, I mean, it's not guaranteed gonna happen.
my assumption, they won't tell me, my assumption is they'll probably, because there's $40 million, what they'll probably do is they'll approximate all these projects at a certain, estimate, because we're not giving them any estimate up front, so they're having to estimate that somehow. They're probably gonna pick, I would assume, $60 to $80 million worth of bridges. They'll go down the list, pick that many. They'll send out to you guys, and then they're gonna be waiting for the counties to reply back. I'm sure they'll give a short time frame, maybe one meeting to figure out how much you're willing to put in as a local share, and then you'll have to respond.
Knowing what we know about infrastructure in the state of North Dakota, ain't nothing gonna get funded that's in a poor condition.
Right.
Most likely.
Right.
Unless one of us commissioners are absent that day, you'll come with another check.
Right.
Wow. I hate to say it, but we've got a county just north of you guys in McHenry County that has 34 poor bridges.
I know.
34?
Oh my, they have had for years, right, Doc?
Well, three of them are already funded, so we're down to 31 now.
Oh, the Mouse River runs
Yep.
through the whole county.
What part of it's worse?
Oh yeah, you can always find someplace worse.
It's actually like Cut Bank Creek, and that's just, they're over 20 footers. So we've got, I think it's almost 100 over 20s that are on this list. I have 7 sheets for them of this size. And then we have looked at about 50 under 20s, and they figure that's probably only about half of theirs that are under 20. Because one other thing I should bring up, and I don't know if I did to you, Brent, the under 20 footers, so anything not on this list, bridge related, you can apply for flex funding. Whether or not any of those are even going to get a second look, I don't know, because there's so many road projects. But they did tell us that the off system, the ones that aren't on this list, we could apply if we've got like a 16-foot bridge that's ready to fall in and it's posted at 3 tons. There is that option, I guess. So did I mention that to you?
No.
So if there are any, we could put a quick application.
I'm just trying to think, I don't think we may not have many in Wells County.
But just something to think about as well. It's not too late, I guess, if there's something that we want to throw in there. So, all right, well then I'll send all the information you down with those 5 lists.
Is there any covered bridges in the state of North Dakota yet? Old style covered bridges? Is there any of them?
It worked good for combines.
I don't
It would do all
think
of
there's
those.
any.
No, but there used to
They've
be.
got those old big truss arch bridges that are on the historic list. I don't know of any covered bridges, I guess.
To go to Vermont.
So then moving on to the applications, I guess unless you have discussed something otherwise, right now we have We already actually, I started the applications for Old 52 for a 1-inch mill and 2.5-inch overlay, as well as County Road 1 from here north 8 miles. And then, like I said, the other option that we had discussed potentially, Brent and I had discussed, was realigning that roadway to eliminate one of those bridges out,
Northeast of town.
yeah,
Yeah.
northeast of town here.
Northeast, a couple miles.
So, do we, I guess, how do we feel? Is there any additions, any subtractions? And then we can get those three going, and then I just need to know from you guys what you want to commit locally to those projects.
So Kurt, we got Hamlin to finish it.
Correct.
And then, the old highway and one here. Those would be for the next year, right? Would that be possibly? if we
Yeah,
do?
the absolute earliest would be, obviously, next year for construction. One thing I will add is, when I did print off the checklist for you guys, or the scoring list, one thing they added into that was higher priority, they're putting high priority on bid-ready projects and low priority to projects that aren't bid-ready. The pro, obviously, and we are, I guess we are asking and saying we could get plans ready for Old 52 or 1 or both before the deadline here. We'd have to get going right away, so I'd have to have an answer
Well, I'm
today.
thinking if we'd have a setup, it'd be nice if we could swing it to do both at the same time.
The pro is obviously we get higher priority. What I want to add though is the negative obviously is, since you're saying the plan is bid ready, the county then would pay 100% of the preliminary engineering. So we have discussed, our standard has always been 4% of the project cost. We would be willing to lower that some to get that done, depending on what is reasonable, I guess. A reasonable request for what we could do it for. We could lower that and then just ask for more out of the flex fund on it.
Well, we're stretching ourselves too thin if we're gonna think that we're gonna have something bid ready on both those projects.
That's what Jason and I talked about.
Yeah.
We talked about this about a week ago about, and what I kinda lean towards is if you guys were gonna try to be bid ready on one of the projects, it would be our number 1 project, which would be
52.
Old 52, and not try to get bid ready on County 1.
Because if that's the case, then this is gonna, okay, in a perfect world, it's all gonna get funded next year. Our local contribution to each one of them is gonna get pretty small, so our chances of getting accepted are less. Am I,
Yeah.
is that right?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
Is it outside the realm of possibility that to try to get Old 52 bid ready, and even though we're putting in an application for our second priority and our third priority, the goal is if we have one bid ready and we can get on the short list or whatever, and we can maybe have a larger commitment to our bid ready one and not be so concerned about number 2 and number 3?
Well, and then the $12 question would be, how much significance is bid ready worth?
Yeah. And
You don't know
they
that.
won't get an answer
You don't
to
get
that.
an
I mean,
answer.
if you look at that list there, what was there? I think there's about 12 scoring options, and that's one of, or
Yep.
12 things they score on, and that's one of 12. So I can tell you, I would say out of our 15 counties, we've got about 7 that are trying to get one project bid ready. I do have a feeling they're going to look at that quite a bit. The other thing is being bid ready, and I didn't mention this, but being bid ready, we asked them what that means exactly. They're saying any project that could be bid by like April or May of 2026. So it's going to have to be a project that's funded next year as well.
All right.
So we can't say something's bid ready just to get that higher priority and
You
then
gotta
just
have
kind
money to
of
back
push
it.
it off.
To have
It's
money to
gonna
back it
have
next
to
year.
Yeah.
Which obviously most of that money should be coming out of the flex fund, but whatever you guys commit to that project that we say is bid ready will have to be available next year. So that's something else to.
So if we do Old 52, all we do is have to mill it, there's nothing else, there's no culverts, there's no bridge things, there's no nothing, just mill it.
Mill it and fill it.
I would say there's a possibility we would do a little bit of patching.
Yeah, but yeah,
A couple of them called.
That's kind of standard for a mill.
On the west end there, by the bridge by Shales Farm, is anything gonna have to be done there? I mean, that's one of the major ones. that
we have
goes
two bridges that run underneath that highway. You got the one by Shales and the one right by the, what I would call the Chasely
through.
Turner.
Right, yep, that's what I mean.
And then you have a fairly significant box culvert that runs underneath it too,
Right out of town,
right out of town about 5 miles.
where the water comes from south of town.
Mhm.
But right west of the river, there by Midway, by the shut, by the James,
The bridge that's by Shales is by far much worse
right?
than the bridge that's up by the Chasely Road.
But there's a little bridge west of that one by the Chasely Road, a small one. Not much of one, but there's one there.
Okay.
Well, Jason, I'm asking a more speculative question than your part. And what would our contribution be to make it significant enough to get approved? A ballpark. I mean, what are other counties doing? You do this all the time.
I would say if
2%, 5%,
we're not getting
20%?
close to 20%, we're probably not even.
Okay.
We gotta have at least 20.
Well, there's no requirement, and honestly, the ranking they did last year, in a way, there was almost no rhyme or reason to look up Victim based on the local share. I will say, the counties that we had that put in, we had Bird and Divide put in major amounts of money, because they've got some oil money. You know, Divide did over 50% on their project, they got it last year, or last time around. Bird County did 25% on theirs, they got the PE paid for, so, and now their PE is already done on it, which now puts them in a higher priority list to get that project paid this coming year. So.
Jason, do you remember, and I know you gave it to us last meeting, I forgot to bring it with, when you kind of gave these guys a cost estimate of what this, I'm just gonna call the mill and fill on Old 52. Was that about 7 to 8 million?
No. I'm at, the total was 7 or 8.
The total was 7 to 8?
Between the two, no. 4.2 million is what I'm pretty close on that now. For Old 52, I got the construction estimate at 4.2 million. Estimate of engineering at 10% would be 420,000. So 4.6 roughly.
20% of that is less than a million.
20% would be about 1.1 and 1.2 million.
Or, yeah.
No.
No, about 800,000.
900,000.
You're right,
Yep.
you're right.
Can certainly do that.
We can do that.
If you could conceivably, between the two of them, be at about 1.5 or 1.6 max, it's doable.
We got our prairie dog for this year already.
Well, you're using about half of it for the Amber, well, a little more than half for the Amber Slough area. That leaves you about 800 grand right there. You're gonna get some more. Supposedly there's some money showing up in August. Yeah, I would say you're in the $1.5 million range, but we can't swing and miss on this thing though. Because if there's a 1.5 that you can contribute now, the price of it's gonna go up so that you're not gonna be in any kind of a percentage in a year or 2 or 3 or whatever the case may be, so. You're gonna do this stuff, you better start doing it now, otherwise find a new priority and let's go.
Well, and I hate to say it, but here would be my recommendation is whatever dollar amount you have, I would put the majority of it into your number one.
Number one.
Right.
Yep.
And I would really, I'm not saying you guys have to do this, but I would recommend potentially getting that project bid ready and prepared to do it next year. That checks all the boxes essentially.
Realistically, if these guys said 1.4 million and get project on Old 52 bid ready, you're looking at about a 35% on your
1.4
part,
would be about a third of it.
about a third of it,
Yeah.
and trying to get the old 52 project done.
Well, this is a gambling deal, or will 25% be enough?
Right.
It saves us $400,000.
Right. I mean,
No, it's a
You have to
poker
think
game.
about that, because you're not done when that road's done, you still got 71, you got.
Yeah, I
you got
know.
all these
I know.
other needs that
That's
are
the
gonna
thing.
keep stacking up. And this is the product of waiting this long to do this, so pick something, let's go.
I think we could do a 20 to 25% contribution on Highway 52 and getting that shit ready.
So if you were on the board picking places, which one would you pick? I mean, if you were on the other, you gotta look at it from the other side now. The guys looking at these projects. The state guys looking at the project.
Well, like you said, last year.
There's no rhyme or reason, and
I'm
we
just saying,
thought,
that's what you gotta
we
think
thought we
about.
had a
However you do
grand
it.
scheme on the Hamburg Highway because of economic development and all those other reasons, and that all went out the window.
Yeah, we had as good a case for that one.
I know.
as about any county we had, honestly. We had more documentation and lettering and all that. for that
Right.
one,
Hamburg elevator and
Yeah.
But I think we were also asking for probably a little more than they were willing to give with.
well, it's a supply demand thing. They don't have that much money.
So we gotta move on here.
Yeah.
Is that our suggestion, you guys? Is that a consensus?
What is that? What do you?
Well, what Stan-
25%?
What Stan said, get priority one bid ready and 20 to 25% commitment
52.
on old 52.
So should I put 25% on 52 and then whatever that number is and leave it at that? I will say, putting a little bit in to one might give it a little better option, because it broke it down, high priority 50% or more. Or what do they call it, whatever, the middle priority was 0 to 50%, and then low priority was nothing. So essentially a little bit on one would rank it above nothing at all, I guess.
Well, and Highway 1 then, we could put something in there, because that wouldn't be till the next year, right?
Correct, yeah.
And we have more
I'd
money
like
available.
I'd like to see you have a plan that, okay, 2027, this is next.
Well, Highway 1 is next.
Because you are gonna get some dollars and you need to be prepared to do this,
So we could do 20% on Highway 1.
Right.
Yeah, because it would be 2027.
And it wouldn't be till 27.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just go back to, and I'm not saying this is in concrete, but the next priority that I would have on your list though would be County Road 4 is on there, and then the rest of 5 is on there as well.
After 1.
Well, actually, I have those listed above based on how long it's been since
I
significant work's
don't
been
think
done.
either of those roads are in as poor shape as County plans,
Okay,
personally.
yeah, and I mean, it's,
I don't think there's.
it's coin flip on some of that, I'm just going based on when work has last been done.
Unfortunately, they don't probably get the traffic that will get stopped.
Yep.
Or the weight.
So yeah, I've got to put dollar amounts in, so I need dollar amounts, and then I need to know whether or not you guys want us to get that plan set ready to go for 52, I guess.
You know, and 1 especially, you could make the argument that that has had a significantly increased amount of traffic, truck traffic especially, going back again to the Hamburg elevator. That thing would be in great shape if the Hamburg elevator wouldn't have been there.
Actually, between both these elevators, okay?
Oh, you guys do know there's traffic counters all over this county, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
They're everywhere.
They're on gravel roads.
City of Harvey,
They are.
southern Pierce County.
State did them?
Last week. Yep.
It's the state
Yep.
that did it.
Now, there's 2 traffic counters on the Cottonwood gravel road.
They must have brought a whole semi-load of
So we ask everyone to drive across and then back.
Yes.
Multiple times.
I'll work on that
Cottonwood, is
this
that-
Does
afternoon.
everybody do that?
Is Cottonwood the one we were coming out of with all the truckloads of clay?
Nope,
That's
That's,
different.